I've been kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired from my last job. Hot-wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. Beat my brother-in-law half to death. Lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever change. Ain't no harm by the things we do, or the trouble that we get into. Other than a while, every once in a while, we can't help it, it's just our style. Good old boys is all we'll ever be. I got 6 weeks overdue. I got caught with a truck full of bootleg out-of-state booze. Knocked my wife's diamond.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash Brent, Monday morning.
Just excited to be here.
Absolutely. Hard to believe August is here already.
The dog days of summer.
Astros are in them.
Where does that even come from? The dog days of summer.
I don't even know.
Anybody know? Anybody know the genesis of the
PJ
dog
Nelson,
days?
Greg Garcia, Bobby Leister on the podium this morning. Good to see you all. Let me see where that phrase came. Well, you do that. Well, I do that. You can do the weather, brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Hay Feed and Ranch Services. Stop on by, get all you need from the folks at Deerland Feed.
Yeah, you know, like sometimes maintenance is preventative, and the great advantage I've noticed of the AT Deerland Feed 21-7-14 blend of American plant food fertilizer is not that it's like my yard turns brown slower than everybody else's. I think my neighbors think that I water 24/7, and I just don't. The yard is thick and green and self-sustaining, and I mean, it makes perfect sense, but St. Augustine grows on top of the ground a lot. There's runners, and the thick lushness keeps the main vein, if you will, from drying out. My yard's more efficient than my neighbors. They've got like brown spots, and I just don't. 78 degrees in Victoria under sunny skies, heading to a high today of 94. There is a 30% chance of rain late in the afternoon.
Right.
So it's just going to be kind of steamy. Dog days of summer.
It originated in ancient Greece and Rome, and it referred to the period when the star Sirius, which is the dog star, rose with the sun, typically in late July and early August, also associated with the hot, sweltering weather.
So I actually used the phrase in a timely manner since it's August the 4th.
And it was believed to be a period of misfortune. So there you go.
Which would sum up the Astros. The First State Bank of Louise Astros update brought to you by the First State Bank of Louise. Astros get swept like a cheap broom in Boston, played horribly, pitched badly. Carlos Correa hit his first home run as an Astro yesterday in a 6-1 loss.
The lead down to 2.5.
Yeah, the key is it's still the lead, right? We've lost 3 straight games. Texas Rangers lose yesterday to Seattle. So Seattle's won 1, Rangers have lost 1. And we've lost 3 in a row.
Swept by the A's.
But remember, the pitching staff's about to be made whole.
We've only won 2 of our last 10.
Yeah. That's going back to before the All-Star break.
And here's the problem with what happened in Boston. Pitching wasn't great except that first game. And we really couldn't. The
No,
Astros
that's
couldn't
fine.
hit the ball worth a crap. But what was frustrating on Saturday night with the bases loaded and 2 out, and Carlos Correa took a fastball
Yeah, he
down
did.
Broadway.
He looked at a
Just
pitch.
watched it. I mean, I get it. If you're a changeup fools you, this was a 99-mile-an-hour heater,
Right down the middle.
and he didn't even
Challenged him.
swing at it.
Amen. I agree 100%.
You're
This is when-
paying. You just brought back a $37 million a year guy.
Boatingers.
Look at a fastball down the pipe.
I mean,
With
if
the bases
if I'm
loaded?
Joe Espada, I've got to say, hey, Carlos, I mean, you got to go, really? And we're still big league players here. Some pitches are too good to take. We talked about that on Friday.
with 2 outs in what, the 7th or 8th inning, and the bases juiced.
Here's the deal. If you're Jose Altuve, you deposit that over the green monster because you earn your $35 million bucks a year. You don't get to get fooled. You don't get to get fooled on a straight butter fastball with a full count. Now, I didn't understand when the temper's flaring with Hector Neris. He looks irritated. Tell you he is playing well. Christian Walker's playing good baseball. Glad to have him on the program.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand why an
The bench is
intentional
clear.
balk.
I clearly wasn't paying attention. Oh, okay. Here's what happened. What's talking to us?
Computer.
It said that Neris made his way off the mound. The third base coach, a guy named Kyle Hudson, apparently said something. He said, asked me, oh, I know what it was. The coach said something. He said, asked if he felt the Red Sox were stealing signs. Neris responded, maybe yes, maybe no, but I still wanted to concentrate. In that situation, I want to do what I'm feeling in the moment. That is the reason why I moved him to third. So, hey, you know.
He balked intentionally after a double to move the runner to third.
Yeah, he said nothing. It's part of the game. Something funny. People come into the clubhouse maybe to hear what happened, but nothing serious. So what he's saying is you had a runner on second. So Neris had 2 outs. So Neris balked intentionally to send that runner to third. That way that runner can't see the signals that the catcher is giving. And apparently the third base umpire or third base coach, who should be thrilled, took exception to that. Like, hey, what are you saying? Neris said, hey, why don't you pound sand? You're a third base coach.
And let's not forget, people forget and give the Red Sox a pass. They were as guilty in 2017 as the Astros were for stealing signs.
Alex Cora was there. Their manager was the dirtiest of the dirty.
Yeah. No,
Micah Parsons. Let's
move on to
continue
the
that.
Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys fans. Jerry Jones, not at all concerned. Not at all concerned that Micah Parsons, who's got, I think over the last 12 games, he played 12 games last year and had 42 tackles for a loss and like 12 sacks. I mean, the guy's a star.
Yeah.
Forced a couple of fumbles. He is a star. He's a star on the level of Myles Garrett. I mean, he's one of those guys that he's going to command around $40 million bucks a year when it's time to sign him, which is an exorbitant, huge, ridiculous amount of money for any ball player. And Jerry Jones, who still can't get past the fact that, Dak Prescott's contract is worth more than what he paid for the team. And he's not thinking about the fact that his club is worth $10 billion minimum. He could sell it for $10 billion tomorrow. Jerry Jones says this is all just part of the negotiation. Micah says he wants out, but that doesn't mean anything. He's under contract. He will be playing, but they're trying to extend it. And
supposedly had a deal back in March, if you believe
Parsons,
Jerry Jones
pulled it off the table. Apparently it wasn't enough. He's allowed a few other players to renew their contracts. And like the cheapest one I saw of a player at his level was like $35.5 million. Parsons being the youngest of the Myles Garrett, blah, 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 those guys. I'm thinking the guy's going to make, honest, 40 to 42.5 a year.
Parsons is 52. There's ESPN. He's got 52.5 sacks in his first 4 seasons.
That's Hall of Fame numbers, folks.
The guys that are left on the defensive line, Dante Fowler has 55.5 in a 10-season career. Sam Williams is 8.5 in his first 2 seasons, so he doesn't even sniff Micah Parsons' underwear.
No.
Peyton Turner had 5 sacks in 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And he was a free agent pickup from the Saints.
Micah Parsons is on the fast track to the Hall of Fame. He's Randy White. I mean, that's who he is.
Yeah. No,
so
absolutely.
you can't. You're gonna pay him, and Jerry's gonna pay him. They're just kind of. Pete Strauss says the Astros better get it together, or they're gonna be behind both guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think so. I really, and not because the Astros are that good. I just think that Seattle and the Texas Rangers are that bad. I did watch a guy in left field yesterday for Seattle, Garcia maybe. Guy hit a ball that I'm telling you, Altuve would have caught it. And this guy was running on his way to the fence, and the ball just gets over his head. It looked like Keystone Cops out there. The center fielder wasn't there to back him up. Ball's rolling around the outfield. Guy gets an easy, like he walked to second. He couldn't get to third, but it was an easy double.
I still think Seattle could be the problem. And
well, they should be. The Rangers will not be. The
I
Rangers just aren't good.
Rangers should be with all the money they've spent and the collection of former all-stars that they have, but that's the problem. They're former all-stars and they're a little bit old. I don't think they've got the pitching to get it done. Mark Kurtz, good morning. Let's see who else is in.
Do that real quick.
All right.
And then introduces a story.
Marina Scherer, Daniel Wade White, Scott Tomko, Will Vincent, Linda Chris, good morning. There's P. Strauss again, Marvin Mickish, Jordan Glass, Scott Snow, Tammy Keeling, John Anderson checking in, Andrew Alvarez, Lisa Poole, Greg Garcia says Astros had 1 bad inning yesterday and squandered too many opportunities. That kind of summed up their weekend in a way. Matt O'Shea, good morning, Marina.
Hi, Marina.
Stephanie Conti, Scott Tomko, Ricky King. Greg says Astros got to get their starters back. Too many guys out. That is the problem. We got to keep remembering.
Yeah, I do miss Paredes. I think that Correa will be very, very serviceable at third.
Yeah.
And you got the Ramon Urias. That's how they say it, is Urias. Sounds like a body part. I don't know. My Urias is acting up.
I've got a Urias infection.
Right.
Micah Patton,
Judge Posey.
Junior Samples for a non-sports guy. Yeah. What's the issue if one team figures out your crotch grabbing, hat swiping signs? Make better signs.
No, that's baseball. That is one of the things about baseball that makes it great. The Gaylord Perry threw a spitter. Everybody knew he threw a spitter. Spitball is part of the game. Cheating is part of the game of baseball. Stealing signs is not cheating. It's just part of the game.
I remember reading a story on Gene Mock when he was the manager of the Angels, that managed the Expos, a few other teams along the way. Had his best success with the Angels in the 80s when they had Freddie Lynn and Rod Carew.
I did not remember that.
Went over there.
I remember him as a
Bobby
Red Sox.
Grich was there.
I remember Fred Lynn being Rookie of the Year and MVP in 1975.
Yep. Anyway, Gene Mock had – this is the brilliance of Gene Mock as a manager. He had different signs for every player on the roster for every situation. Now,
so he was Mensa.
His sign to give you a bunt might be the same as somebody else's bunt, but further down the road, or it might be somebody's take sign. But no two players ever had the exact same sign. So he did not have 2 players with the same bunt sign on his lineup. So every time somebody got to the plate, all the signs were different.
So like if you were Mauricio Dubon, when you sub in, you go in for Ash. You've got to know Ash's signs because you're going to – maybe he has his own signs.
No, Mauricio had his own signs. Yeah. And I know that's not the pitch count, but still, you're not tipping that stuff.
I see Judge Posey there. He's a savvy politico. I want you guys to chime in on what you really think about the Democrats, to me, being a complete dereliction of their duty. All the Texas House Democrats have left and gotten on a plane and flown to Chicago to hang out at that fat-ass J.B. Pritzker's Hyatt Hotel. Pritzker, as you know, is the billionaire governor of Illinois, which is just a dump of a state. And this guy says, well, hey, y'all don't want to stay around for the gerrymandering. Just come on up here and stay at the Hyatt on me. I'm a billionaire. I'll put you guys up in the hotel. We listened to a press conference this morning. House Democrats.
He's worth $3.7 billion. You think he could be in better shape?
Yeah. Oh, no. He definitely needs some lipo. Fat shaming. Wayne Carter's fat shaming.
Yep.
He ain't getting any modeling gigs. At the end of the day, House Democrats in complete dereliction of their duty. I don't understand the logic, because just as recent as 2020, the Democrats did the same thing. When you lose elections, you are going to find that people do things to preserve the power. But running away, I mean, I guess it's their only option. If they stay in the state, they can literally be arrested and taken to Austin.
Why is the governor of Illinois meddling in the state of Texas politics?
That's a great comment. Andrew Alvarez, there's an election code in Texas that I've seen utilized at the precinct level during my campaigns that states if an elected official misses 4 consecutive official meetings, that they could have the process started to have them removed. I think the Republicans should start utilizing that election code. I saw it happen both in Brownsville and San Antonio. Ash and I were talking before the program.
Republicans don't have the guts.
I was going to say the exact same thing. At the end of the day, when the Democrats are in charge, for better or worse, now we may argue that it's typically for worse, but for better or worse, the Democrats drive change. They do. They do things.
A lot of it's based on hope.
Right. Well, and your change. But the Democrats at least do something. When the Republicans are in control, power, we don't get much done. The fact of the matter has been for a long time, the Republicans will find a way to beat the Democrats using the Democrats' rules. But then when they have the power, they don't do much. So you've got people calling at the federal level. Well, first of all, what do you think about this deal? What do you guys think? Anybody can call too, by the way, 361-894.
Yeah, why didn't I do that?
361-894-4020.
There they are.
That'd be great. Somebody want to call and talk to us. But I don't understand how we tolerate the lack of a quorum, what they've got going on. I don't understand it. I mean, I don't know why. I may get in trouble here. I don't know. I haven't talked to the gentleman about it. I just can't imagine AJ Louderback joining, even if the whole team is going. I don't see AJ Louderback get on the bus and go, well, dog, we've got to leave. It's just a bad deal. We've got to leave. You stay here and take your medicine. You got beat. You don't control the House. What the Republicans want to do is going to happen. All the Democrats are doing is raising, awareness of it.
And here's what's really funny. Republicans only took control of the state legislature 20 years ago. Prior to that, the Democrats gerrymandered the election districts every opportunity they had.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Oh, they're not coming home. They were on a press conference this morning with Pritzker.
Yeah, they're hiding out with Pritzker up there.
No, they won't come home. And here's the other thing. Well, they can be fined $500 a day. Big flipping deal.
Yeah, Pritzker can fund that for him for a while. In theory, this session only goes until the 21st of August. I guess the governor's going to have to call a second session.
And here's the thing. I think they're only gaveling in 2 days this week. So, $1,000, and they can use fundraised dollars to pay that?
I don't think so. I guess you can raise funds for that. You can't use campaign dollars out of your coffers for that. And that's something they put in there to support each other. So
but you know what? That should, but then you're starting to skirt. I get it. You avoid gift taxes on that probably because it doesn't reach the IRS gift thresholds. I don't know.
You can send them money.
They're skirting everything.
Oh, that's what they do. The Dems skirt all the legalities. The
Yeah.
Dems always skirt the legalities.
Yeah. No, this is just it's and they've done it, and they did it up until they lost control of the state legislature, and they would do it again in a heartbeat because the Democrats realize they are in trouble.
Well, they're in trouble
at the federal level.
At the federal level too, Ash. You've got right now, people are saying, okay, look, there's three things we want. We want a new, honest census. We only want to count American citizens. You don't get an attaboy. We'll get to that. And they want no districts based on race. If anybody would be against saying we need to create a district for black people, we need the black vote. Blacks should be able to elect a black. We call that segregation. I mean, that's as if saying blacks aren't, a black voter isn't just another voter. They're either a special voter or they're a lesser voter, but they're not just another voter. So we don't just divide Texas, for example. We have 254 counties. You could just put 6 counties in every district and go. It wouldn't work because some of the districts out west have like 8 people in them. But at the national level, a place like California, you see, the reason it matters is if you count every person there, California has 5 additional House of Representative seats. And some people say, well, they've got the people. Those people deserve to be represented. No, they don't. No, they don't. If you choose to be a sanctuary state and you bring in a bunch of people that aren't Americans, why should you be able to have the influence over the federal budget to help you fund those people too? Because that's a Democrat idea, right? We're going to be all benevolent and kind on somebody else's money. That is not the way it works. So when you go out there and you count American citizens in California, they're going to give up 5 congressional seats. And if you didn't have, listen to this, if you didn't have congressional voting districts based on skin color, the Democrats would never win another election in the House of Representatives ever.
2020. And of course, they don't release this until now. And we're required every 10 years to do the census.
You can do it more often, but you're required to do it every 10.
Listen to the states in which populations were undercounted in 2020. And tell me this might not have been enough to make a difference. Arkansas, Florida, Mississippi, Tennessee, Texas. There's 5. Illinois is the 6th.
Lots of black people.
Lots
of black people.
5 of the 6 are red states.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, you know, the idiot, it doesn't narrow it down. The lady that's from Houston, Jasmine Crockett.
Here's the
my
thing.
district will go away.
Because of this, Florida was cheated out of 2 seats it should have had. Texas missed out on 1. Minnesota and Rhode Island kept a seat they shouldn't have because of populations declining. Colorado was awarded a new seat it didn't deserve.
Yeah. It leads to billions and billions of federal funds being misallocated. And it's not right. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
They also overcounted the population in Delaware,
Americans, they got illegals.
Hawaii, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, Rhode Island, Utah. They overcounted Delaware by almost 5.5%. Delaware.
Yeah, and there's not
you used to be able to
there.
walk door to door in Delaware and count every person
in a day. There's Corn Pop. There's that little girl that Joe used to fondle.
There's all the kids that rub my leg hair in the pool.
Oh, it's crazy.
Florida needed only 171,000 more residents to gain another congressional seat, yet the survey showed Florida was undercounted by 750,000 people. Texas was undercounted by over 500,000 people.
And they only needed 189,000 more to get another seat. So they were over by 370,000 people, still didn't get the seat.
Minnesota was overcounted by Minnesota, overcounted by 216,000 individuals, and they would have, and Rhode Island similarly, both would have lost a seat, or at least not gained any. This is crazy stuff, folks, and nobody's really paying much attention to it. You can't. These are people hired to do their job. They failed at their job at best. You can't tell me there wasn't government collusion to pull this off.
Absolutely. There's OB checking in and says, sweet. He's still a Boston Red Sox fan.
He is.
That's just, that's rude. And I think he should chime in a little more often.
Follow your heart. Montana, good morning.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either, but that's okay. They tune in. That's all
That's
that
cool.
matters.
They're in Montana?
Yep.
Well, we appreciate you.
Yep.
We will find you.
So what they need to do is stop counting illegals on the census. Don't forget when President Trump in his first term tried to remove that question or tried to put that question on the census. I think it went all the way to Supreme Court. Are you a citizen?
Why is that so offensive? We're counting Americans. Are you an American? Well, yes. Okay. They ask you that at the border. I've been there. You American citizen? Yes, sir.
And
Where
you know
you
what?
heading?
Yeah.
I go north.
And you know what? If you are here on a visa, you can't accept government help anyway. It's illegal. Imagine that. When you do it the right way, when you do it legally, you aren't able to get any sort of government assistance, but you waltz in on that through that southern border from 167 different countries illegally.
That's right.
You don't need vaccinations. We'll give you everything. We'll put you up in swanky hotels. We'll give you room service. Here's some Visa gift cards. Go shopping.
That's what happens.
But you come in here illegally. There's no swanky hotels and room service and gift cards. In fact, you have to sign a statement saying if you use any government services, we have the right to deport you, and we will.
And they would have. Very interesting. Tell you he'll transport you. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Let Allen be your go-to, Toto. You need to get from here to there. Allen can help you do it. The Dollar Floor Store, tile, flooring, laminate, hardwoods, luxury vinyl, waterproof flooring, whatever you need, carpet, they've got it. The Dollar Floor Store. Get by
Linoleum.
Mohawk. Oh, they still make that.
I'm
Naugahyde. Get by and see them. You'll be thrilled. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Go by there. I don't know for a fact. I think there's a real good chance that Junior Samples hangs out there like for lunch, harasses the lunchtime crowd.
Where?
Palace Bingo.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Get by there. See Junior. Make a statement. Monday, get back into Veracruz, the best Mexican food in town. Veracruz is your home. Get in there and see them.
The chopping block
Shopping
today?
block?
We'll find out for tomorrow, but they were open again yesterday, so don't forget they are open Saturdays and Sundays now at the chopping block. So the best meat selection in town, prime grade ribeyes.
Phenomenal. I went in the other day and had that Denver steak, and we just let it get up close to room temperature, put it on the grill. It was fantastic.
It was phenomenal. Was that the one that we had on
Absolutely.
Saturday?
Just, you soaked it in butter. The other one was like an old Nike tennis shoe. We put butter on it, too, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
USA Concrete Coatings. Let USA Concrete Coatings help your concrete dreams come true, whether you want to sand it, seal it, stain it, paint it, whatever you want done. Charlie Garcia and his team at 578 Home. They can help your home look better with a new concrete coating.
They can transform that Cowboys star logo into an Astro star logo.
There you go.
That's what you're looking to do.
White Trash Services, White Trash for all your garbage removal needs.
I was out driving around yesterday, and I think it was on Main Street. I saw White Trash Site Services
Billboard?
No. Well, it might have well
Dumpster?
have been. It was a big old bucket front
An excavator?
excavator. Thank you. Couldn't
That's why
think of the word.
side services.
And
I'll
they
tell you
had
what.
cleared that. They had cleared that lot up. Didn't even know there was a building on it.
There's a billboard as you're on, I guess it's 87 going into Port Lavaca on the right, says White Trash Services. And there's one in Kennedy or in the Kennedy Karnes City area. Other than that, they have grown exclusively on the support of Wade and Carter. That and the fact that they're always on time. They're there every week. They have a great business model and they're great people. 550-1826. There you go. Jackie Parsons says they don't make people do the census anymore. Well, now that we have a fascist president, people will do the census. We're only going to count white people.
Remember when it was illegal to not participate in the census?
Shouldn't it be? I mean, shouldn't you have to send it in?
You would think.
Hello, Torrin Bales.
Good morning, Torrent.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Remember when the Dems were all, Donald Trump's just an out-of-touch billionaire. He doesn't know anything about government and being with the people.
So get JB
So-
Pritzker in there.
Yeah. You made a good point this morning when we were sitting there watching
I
JB.
did. Wait,
Yeah,
just say it again.
you made a good point this morning
Yeah, I like that.
off the air, which is
That's
fitting. Never
right,
on the air.
That's right. Right. It's one of my favorite parts.
But while they're doing this press conference, you noted that it was jbpritzker.com.
Yeah, because he's running for president. Like nobody really wants to talk about it, but he's running for president right now. That's
why he's meddling in
seeking
Texas politics.
Glory. That's what he wants. He's just seeking some attention.
And if he was trying to distance himself from his official seat as governor in doing this, isn't he still on the people's time, Mr. Hand?
Right? If I'm here and you're here, isn't it our time, Mr. Hand? You know, last week I didn't talk about this, but August the 1st, I think it may have been August the 3rd. Let's look because it's worth noting. I've got it right here. I can find it. William Barrett Travis was born on August the 1st of 1809. Now, you'll recall that William Barrett Travis died in the siege of the Alamo in 1836. The man did a lot in 27 years. He died at the age of 27. May have technically been 28, but I mean, he died at, I think, 27. And he's the one that literally said victory or death. He's the one that said, you know, send me troops, Sam Houston. I need support or we will surely be killed, but we will fight until the death. 183, I think, 186, under 200. Died at the Battle of the Alamo. Less than a month later, slaughtered the Mexicans in their tents as they took their afternoon siesta, or in the early morning, I guess, in the early morning at San Jacinto. A quality retribution.
If this isn't proof that the Democrats just love the average people, the working class, the poor, the downtrodden. It's been over a decade since the water crisis in Flint, Michigan was unveiled. Lead pipes, problematic issues. The state finally telling a federal court it had replaced about 11,000 lead pipes and restored 28,000 damaged properties. The EPA now says that according to the Safe Water Drinking Water Act, that Flint's water is now safe and meets the requirements of their act.
You drinking it?
I don't know that I am.
Is it like a vacation destination?
Who's been
go
in
to Flint and have a glass of water?
Who's been in charge in Flint? And who's been in charge of Michigan the whole time?
Democrats for sure. No doubt about it.
A decade.
You know, you got to picture
The
Texas.
state didn't give a crap about Flint because there aren't enough voters in Flint
That's
to
true.
kick Democrats out of power
No, that's
in
true.
Michigan.
Now that's cynical, but accurate. Picture the group of Texas House Democrats coming down to the buffet at the Hyatt in their Hyatt robes, but yet telling their families how they're just roughing it. Just, it's horrid. I miss my family. Mike Slater this morning saying the bacon at the buffet is floppy. I prefer patties over links. Actually, he said links over patties.
I prefer links over patties too, to be honest. When it comes to
it depends.
sausage.
If they seem notoriously steamed rather than flat griddled. I want at least the casing to be crispy. I don't like the soft, mushy, mealy,
Casing.
dank, damp, moist sausage you get at buffets.
I prefer my patties to even have a little bit of brown
Little
on them.
char.
They really don't. They think they just, like you said, I think they're served. They're ready to heat. They throw them in the microwave and throw them.
They are. They're
warmer.
heat and eat. They're all heat and eat. And why is it that eggs that, so you can buy eggs. I used to buy eggs. It can be done. I've done it. I used to buy eggs in a carton,
Like a
and
milk
just
carton.
pour them out, and they're fine. They'll keep a couple of weeks. There you go. Go get them, Riker. And why is it though that when you eat at a hotel that they seem powdered in the right word? If they were powdered, I think I would recognize it, but they just seem kind of. Ugh.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think they overcook them or cook
Okay.
them on too high a temperature. That's my guess.
Anybody else have any first world problems and you really feel bad about the buffets at hotels? That's what the Senate, that's what the House Democrats are having to deal with. Bless their hearts. Although Pritzker's probably got room service for those folks. I mean, he probably does. Interesting. Okay, so here's a question. It's a return of the mile run. This is interesting to me. So Donald Trump's like, what, 78 years old? I'll go with that. 78's my guess. People are saying the president has now called for the presidential, whatever they called it. That used to be the presidential federal fit, the president's fitness test. You have to run a mile, you do some push-ups, you have to do some sit-ups, you have to touch your toes, you have to do a certain stretch. And if you do, you get the patch. And it was a big deal to get the patch back when I was in elementary school. You wanted to get the patch. And Democrats are now screaming, well, yeah, you know what? We'll make our kids do it when the president can do it. He should lead by example. Boy, that's a slippery slope for Democrats to go down.
J.B. Prisker's 60 and looks more out of shape than Donald Trump does.
More out of shape than Donald Trump. But the idea is,
Greg Abbott couldn't run a mile,
right? But he could wheel it.
I'm just saying, how do you account for that?
That's the whole deal. But for the president to say, and how many of you disagree? How many of you disagree that we should have a presidential presidential fitness test, that you can still get the badge, get the pass?
Well, you know what?
When quit because kids got fat, kids got soft, PE got slimmed down because dodgeball's too violent, kickball's too physical. The next thing you know, you got a bunch of fat ass kids walking around the school, and we can't have a designation that says you're fit because that discriminates against the fat kid.
And we can't even say you're fat anymore.
No, you can't. You've got to be clinically obese, which is so much more flattering.
We implemented the president's fitness test in the 1950s, and it found when it was determined that Americans were about half as strong as their European counterparts.
Yeah. It's a mile run, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups. Top scorers receive the Presidential Physical Fitness Award.
We had something similar in Canada. It was called participation.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's very Canadian, right?
It is.
It's participation.
And they wanted everybody to participate.
Yeah.
You did the flexed arm hang. You had to hang on a bar at eye level with your
Everybody
arms
gets
flexed.
a green ribbon.
We had
and then taxed on it.
We had 3 patches that you could sew onto your jacket back in the day. Gold, silver, bronze. They're actually pretty cool. And anybody who couldn't reach the standard of bronze got a participation. Eventually a patch, because there was too much. People felt the kids were getting shamed when they didn't get their patch because they didn't meet the bronze standard of fitness. You just used to get a little lapel pin.
I just don't get it though. We joke all the time about how, especially as Texans, the way we love football, that and baseball that we teach our children to share, be kind, don't cheat. And then in sports, if he puts down 2 fingers, nod at the coach. Do
Take
it
the
quietly.
ball away from him.
Yeah, steal the ball. Hit that guy.
Kill him.
Sports are
What was the game we used to play? Murder the quarterback?
Yeah. Kill the queer. At the end of the day, sports, though, are a microcosm of life. And it is un-American for us to allow kids. And I realize, I'm thinking about people that we know here that have a background in education. And you're like, we just can't discriminate that way. Look, there are winners and there are losers. And you can't be a winner without a loser.
There was nothing that taught you how life works better than sports. And if you didn't make a team, it either fueled you to work harder or
Jordan.
find another sport that you were better at.
That's right. I heard a great quote this weekend, a guy named Roy Spence. Roy Spence is a Texan. He founded GSD and M. It's a marketing company, he's a gazillionaire. And he was talking about being in school and that he had too many misspelled words, but he still made an A- on the paper. And his mother, his mother called the teacher, wanted to discuss little Roy's lack of prowess with certain words. And the teacher said, he's not a good speller, but he's got really good thoughts and he's a really good writer. I gave him an A- for his writing. We can work on his spelling. And his mother told him, this is such a great comment. His mother told him, VISD, I hope you're listening. Said, I'm tired of you spending all your time trying to be average at something you're not good at. I want you to focus on being great at something you are already good at. Find your path. Find what you're good at. You've got people whining and moaning, and the Dems especially love a good handout. All these kids and you hear these horror stories, and they're all bull. They're all bull. I'm $218,000 in debt from student loans, and I've been paying $500 a month for 10 years. Liar, liar. You're a liar. No, you're not. You're a liar. At the end of the day, AI is coming for your job. If you're dumb enough to be $200,000, if you're not a doctor, because if you're a lawyer, you can pay the bill, period, fact. But if you're dumb enough to be $213,000 in debt for going to college, guess what? AI is going to replace you within 5 years. What's it not going to replace? A plumber, an electrician, a welder.
Well, here's the problem. And now we're trying to redo, because for years, you need a college degree. You need a college degree that was drilled into everybody's head.
And I know some stupid college graduates. I do. Dumb.
And I know some people in trades that probably shouldn't be in trades because they were forced into them, didn't want to be in them. This is the problem. A lot of good people who had skills in the trades ended up getting a college degree because we hammered it in their heads they needed a college degree.
Lost a lot of good men out there.
Going back to the presidential fitness test, I find it ironic it was phased out by Barack Obama, who also brought in ketchup and salsa as vegetables. They counted as vegetables in the school nutrition plan.
Time's going to catch up with
And
Barack.
He was hailed as a genius for doing so.
Yeah. Barack Obama, one of the worst presidents we've ever had.
Oh, and let's not forget, he completely undermined.
Yep.
Completely undermined the 2020 presidential election and tried to thwart the 2016 presidential election. He knew what was going on.
Speaking of healthy eating, how about Para Vita Wellness? If you didn't get in this weekend to the Vita Cafe, you missed a fantastic brunch. Erica Briggs and her team have that ready to go. It's exciting. It's light. It's if you go, everything's fresh.
Everybody must have left town this weekend.
Give that a chance soon. And get by Para Vita Wellness now. Airline and Laurent. Get by there.
You almost went French on that.
For great food. You'll love that. Chesnick Furniture, Chesnick and Love, make your house a home. Get by and see why you just always do better at Chesnick. Bobby Leon and his family, serving you and yours for 105 years. Think about that. Sneaking up on 100, Atzenhofer. Atzenhofer Chevrolet, the Atzenhofer dealerships.
Congrats to Tommy Taylor becoming dealer principal.
He is the guy.
He is the guy at Atzenhofer now.
He is the head Shaka Khan, third son of the Khan. He is also the fourth generation of a family member to run that dealership.
Grandson of Ed Atzenhofer? Great grandson.
So there was Ed Atzenhofer, then there was Mr. Milton Bully Greason, and then there's his son, yes, Milton Greason, and then there's Tommy Taylor, who is Ed Atzenhofer's great grandson.
There we go.
Went Services, Went Electrical. For all your generator needs, Went has turnkey generator service. Generac, they're a preferred dealer. Generac, American-made product. Generac, no tariffs. Did you see where the month of July brought in $29 billion in tariffs paid for, received from other countries? We'll see how that goes over time. Over time is not good. We want it to be a quick tariff to get the deals we want done. Donald Trump's still negotiating feverishly with a number of companies, number of countries.
I think he extended the deadline for Mexico.
Yeah, gave him, I think, another 30 days. Yeah. It's doing great. It's going great.
President Trump announcing he's going to look for a new Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner, fired Commissioner Erica McAdams.
I don't necessarily like that. He doesn't like the jobs report. He doesn't
like
the interest rates.
Here's been the problem, though, and you and I have pointed this out over time. The jobs report was always overinflated, and then they always had to go back and readjust the numbers and always downward. For example, May and June totals are revised down by a combined 258,000 jobs. The problem isn't the reports. The problem is the methodology in the reports.
Right.
Let's get it right. Why can't we use the same methodology in May and June that we then used now in July to downward revise those jobs reports? Why couldn't we have used that same methodology in May and June so we're not revising them downward? Why aren't they accurate? This has been a problem for at least a decade. And maybe not quite that long, but Joe Biden certainly used it to his advantage for better job numbers and then never, ever addressed the slumping job numbers, and the media rarely reported it. But CNN has no problem already going, the jobs report not as good in May and June. We lost $258,000 jobs.
Kevin Hassett, the National Economic Council Director, says that the president wants his own people. And he does defend that. He says he does not provide any evidence, though, that the report was incorrect. He says,
we won't know July's report was incorrect until August or September when they revise it downward. Actually, I doubt it would be downward.
I do think, though, that the president's goal is consumer confidence. I do think consumer confidence will help the country. I do believe that the tariffs are going to be short term. And I don't buy in. Like I said, if you don't want to pay tariffs, don't buy tariffable goods. It's a pretty simple deal.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a choice you make. If you feel like you're going to have to pay the tariffs, then just don't buy things. And people say, well, there's things that I want. I'm having to do without things. Well, you're right. You're right. George Washington's people did without boots at Valley Forge. I mean, we're not asking you to cross the Potomac with a musket. We're asking you to fight an economic war that we can win, that I believe we are winning. Do your part. Do your part. These are very much first world problems. There you go. Torrin Bell says, I still think they should take out the government jobs in the report. The left increases government jobs to pad the numbers.
That's a good point,
That's a
Torrin.
great
How
point.
much of the 73,000 jobs created in July were a result of the cut in government jobs at the federal level?
President Trump now has relieved over 50% of the Department of Education. Has it affected you? Has it affected you in any way?
No.
That they're going? No. Peter McNally says Obama knew how to win. That's what they all really care about.
Thank you for admitting it, because
That's
the
true.
Dems will not admit that.
Be small. You need a good musket. In fact, if you're a literalist, that's what the Constitution wanted you to have.
Yeah.
That's the Second Amendment. They want you to have a musket.
I thought you had a good musket at one time. It was all business in the front and party in the back.
Right. It's funny, the left always wants to interpret anything to do with gun laws in the most restrictive manner. You can have a musket, but they want to interpret every other law in the most broad manner. It's my body. I can do what I want to it. Killing babies is okay anytime.
You know what's really interesting with the 5 seats that Texas would gain under the new map that has been gerrymandered?
Yeah.
Those 5 seats are the 5 seats that would have been gained by red states in the 2020 census.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Speaking of abortion, the Department of Veteran Affairs wants to end certain abortion services for veterans. In a proposed rule filed last Friday, the VA is seeking to revoke access to abortions and abortion counseling for veterans and their beneficiaries, except in cases where a physician certifies that the life of the mother would be endangered if the fetus were carried to term. Sure makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. This new rule would roll back a Biden-era move that provided access to abortions when a pregnant veteran's life or health was at risk if their pregnancy was carried to term, or if the pregnancy was a result of rape or incest, regardless of state laws. By the way, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know. It's not for me to say or for me to understand where God is in this. I know that if I had a 14-year-old daughter and she were abused by a MS-13 gang member, I'm not certain that I would be able to say, well, that's God's will, honey. I want you to carry that baby to term. However, we know that God hasn't changed, right? Yesterday, today, tomorrow, forever. Go back 300 years, it would have been unfortunate. Of course, the MS-13 gang member would have been shot on the spot, not waiting around in a prison with endless appeals. But you can look back at the good things that have happened. I mean, David messed around with Bathsheba. Hey, but that's how we got Solomon. I mean, you never know. You know, someday in heaven, Ash, you may ask God himself, if you loved us so much, I mean, why didn't you send us a cure for cancer? And he may look at you and go, we sent 5. Planned Parenthood aborted them. You really may. You had multiple chances to do the right thing. You chose not to.
I will find it again, and I will, not today, but 50 Things They Don't Want You to Know. Jerome Hudson wrote the book. There are some eye-popping statistics in there about Planned Parenthood. They are an abortion factory.
Oh, yeah. That lady
to
hated
fund
white people.
Their operations. Anyway.
Found in a remote rainforest of Australia.
Who did?
A creature that's nearly 16 inches long and weighs about as much as a golf ball. It's a stick insect.
So it's like a praying mantis?
Something like, oh, wow, that thing is big.
That's disgusting.
It's ugly. Yeah. As long as a man's arm and has wings about that wide.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Yeah. Hey, did you know, and I'm just throwing this out there if any of y'all knew this, one of the most ferocious, is that a good word?
Sure.
One of the most really serious predators out there.
Ferocious?
Is the is the dragonfly. Maybe next only to the bat population, eats a ton of mosquitoes.
Yeah, I love dragonflies.
They
I think they're
make
cool.
now on a little spring, a little plastic dragonfly that you can like put up on your patio, and it just kind of vibrates in the wind. And apparently the mosquitoes go whoop, bad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Flaco Jimenez, the Grammy-winning Tejano music legend, passed away over the weekend at the age of 86.
Lonnie Anderson, she of robust nature.
WKRP fame.
Yep.
Always thought Bailey was prettier on WKRP, but obviously Lonnie had the body that most prepubescent and pubescent boys longed for on that show.
Right after
Passing away.
Farrah Fawcett.
79 years old.
Yeah.
If not for Farrah, Lonnie Anderson doesn't exist.
I agree.
Right?
Yep.
OPEC doing all they can to keep oil prices down.
Yeah, they agreed to raise oil production by over 547,000 barrels per day.
How many of those are selling to Russia, I wonder?
I do not know that. Berkshire Hathaway's operating profits dropped 4% in Q2 to $11.2 billion. They're barely getting by.
Barely.
Wow.
Man, ever since Warren Buffett said he was going to step down, they have gone into the tank, haven't they?
Yeah, they're hardly worth anything at all.
Wow. This should scare you for people around here.
The longest recorded lightning bolt stretches 515 miles. It crossed 3 states. Called it a mega flash.
It was more than 50 times the length of the average lightning bolt. That's crazy stuff. That's why you can't be too sure when lightning's in the area that you're exactly safe.
There you go. The best thing to do is go inside, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Climate change has to be responsible for all the volcanic activity in Russia and the Pacific Rim lately.
You think?
It has to be. I mean, the planet, obviously humans are responsible for all the activity deep in the bowels of the earth.
It's got to be.
It's got to be what's going on top of the earth, right? Now they're finding out every interesting study. There's some stuff I'm going to dive into on climate studies that came out of the EPA last week that I just haven't had time to read because they're very in-depth, but they're so interesting. But they're finding out that temperatures are actually on the cooling trend. This is a study I saw the other day. And the only reason there was a slight blip, I think in 23 and parts of 24, is because of a underwater volcano erupted, released enough moisture into the atmosphere
right
to actually raise temperatures. If that volcano doesn't erupt, temperatures don't increase because of the moisture in the atmosphere. Those 2 years, we actually would continue the downward trend that we're seeing so far in the rest of 24 and into 25.
But you could have a huge volcanic eruption that throws a whole bunch of ash into the atmosphere, and that too can trap heat.
I've got
things happen.
Yeah. Remember when we had, and this is just interesting stuff. Junior Sample says you put sticks on top of your fence to attract dragonflies. I guess they'll land on, right?
Very cool. Thank you, John Anderson. Good morning in the Carolinas.
We had Chris Martz on a couple of weeks ago to talk about the results of trying to accurately predict what happened in Kerrville. Remember the meteorologist?
He was an interesting young man.
Anyway, he took data from NOAA and mapped out the all-time high temp records per state.
Right.
Just to give you an idea of when the majority of the state records,
early 1900s. Technology is whipping you.
Yeah, it is whipping me right now.
It's okay. It's radio. We got time.
I'm trying to stretch. It's usually Tuesdays that are our slow news days. If today's like this,
you can't find it.
I apologize for you all tomorrow.
And Wednesday. This is a 2-day apology.
California's highest temperature ever recorded in 1913. Texas in 1936. Most of the Midwest or the Plain States were during the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl.
It was hot. That's why the money was no good. Brian Small.
Oregon's high temperature was set in 1898, but we're supposed to be thinking
it cycles, folks. It all cycles. Brian Small says he'll be outside putting sticks on top of his fence today.
You might want to do that tomorrow between 7 and 8, Brian.
I don't know.
Might be better than this show.
Don't know about you people.
No, kidding. Hopefully the Astros will start turning around this
week.
week.
They play today in Miami, playing the Marlins tonight. So Astros should get after it. We hope you guys have a great day. God bless.
Wow, an hour's gone by already.
An hour has flown by. An hour of fun with Wade and Carter. Fun, and hijinks. Have a blessed day, folks. We love you. We'll talk to you mañana.
Bye, folks.
Kicked down my near